king of Indian classical music.
He just comes to the stage and just expresses himself on point.
Hey, you're watching the first episode of Khoj.
I am Alapini,
And I'm Radha.
and today we are going to dive in the topic of
Indian classical music. History. Such a vast topic, right? Indian classical music.
Yeah, Indian classical music is to be basic, it is organized music.
Yes, any kind of classical music is organized
Organized.
music.
Yeah.
But did you know that Indian classical music is extremely ancient? The first scriptures of Indian classical music were found in Vedic literature,
Yeah.
which goes back to 6,000 years. A book, I don't think so we can call it a book, but a book named Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni contains the core concepts of Indian classical music. And then what the Indian classical music evolved.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Dhrupad Gayan was the purest form of Indian classical music at that time.
Okay.
But Dhrupad Gayan was more inclined to preaching to God.
Yeah.
So after that, Indian classical music was, more evolved to entertaining purposes.
Yeah.
And preaching to God was not did
The
not
only
meet,
objective.
Yeah, did not meet the need of entertaining people. So Amir Khusro, a lyricist, he started a new genre of Indian classical music known as Khyal Gayan.
Okay.
And that was, the first
Revolutionary.
evolution of Indian classical music. And Khyal Gayan had so much scope of evolving
Yeah.
that now Dhrupad Gayan is just kept as the purest form of Indian classical music, and Khyal Gayan is
evolving right now. Yes. Actually, I think so that's a very important stage in the evolution of Indian classical music.
Yeah.
So like we went from only devotion to God and preaching towards God
To
actually-
expressing ourselves.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
expression and expressing ourselves. Yes. Basic elements of Indian classical music. Yeah.
So there are two basic elements of any music in the world.
Yes.
That is melody and rhythm.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
right. And rhythm in melody in Indian classical music is translated into tal and rag. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you just tell us what a tal is?
Yeah, so tal is a basic mathematics. Okay, so it is just a repeating cycle of beats.
Okay.
It starts from one point, it travels all through the patterns and takes twists and
Complexities.
turns, and again comes to the same.
First point.
Yeah.
It again comes to the first
First
point. So basically, tal is just an organized way of finding beats.
Yeah.
Organized way of beats, right?
Right.
And this tal, which we think about, is actually extremely close to nature.
It is.
Yeah, because tal is just beats, we can find tal in everything that is around us.
It is actually said that everything in nature has its own rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the rains, pitter patter that we listen to,
Yes.
or every human being has its own rhythm.
Yes, the circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
A circadian rhythm is a rhythm for every organism, which governs every what do you call it? All the systems that go on in our actual body.
Body, yeah.
Yeah. So and therefore rhythm is fundamental in the universe if you think about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And that's what I like about the beauty of Indian classical music. It's that it takes the fundamentals
Fundamentals of the nature.
yeah, and
uses
applies
them.
it
Yeah.
to make something beautiful which we can't find in nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tal is incredible. It's actually very simple. If you
Yeah,
think
we
about
can
it.
give you an example.
Yeah.
Like Dadra is a tal with 6 beats, and there are three. Like the pattern is 3 and 3.
Okay.
So it is dha, dhi, na, dha, tu, na.
Okay, these are hand gestures, right?
Yeah, so to indicate that we are on the first beat or on the second beat or third beat, to to guide the singer or the pursuer to
to go through the
go-
beats
yeah,
and end up on the first
Yeah,
point.
so the skill is to go all through the beat, like the
Complexity.
cycle, and come and stop at the same first point.
So we can
So
go
that's the
anywhere. We can go
Yeah.
in the melody. We can travel in many complexities.
Yeah, if you go in the intricacy, like whatever, you can
Yeah.
go wherever you can and just come to the
The
same
skill
point.
is coming back to the first point. So
Yeah.
that's another beauty, which is like the cycle of music.
Yeah.
Which is like we can go anywhere we want, and that's the you know what? That's the basic principle of Indian classical music. That's why people think that it's complicated.
Yeah.
The complications take place when you go after the cycle.
Yeah.
But the simple thing is that they will always return to
The same point. So they should like move parallelly and they should just converge at some point, and it should be so naturally that you know it was just bound to happen.
Yes, the melody and the tal should work hand in hand.
Yeah, but
and
they
will-
should not restrict each other. Like
Yeah.
the tal, like the rhythm should not restrict the melody. They should go hand in hand alongside and they should meet at some point.
And it seems so natural when they do
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
it's just beautiful. So can you just give us an example of a tal?
Yeah, so Dadra, as I told you, is 3-3. So
Dha, dhi, na, dha, tu, na. Dha, dhi, na, dha, tu, na. Dha, dhi, na, dha, tu, na.
बंसी बट यमुना तट नीर तट बनमाली.
Bansi, wow!
That was the
Get you? Yeah, that was the aha moment.
Yeah.
Get it? She traveled through all that Bansi.
Yes, I sang like too many of the words, and you know,
Sang
described Krishna, the god, and then again came to the first point. So I did not like get lost in all that sounds and the words
And
that
the
I was
melody.
singing. Yeah, I was bound to come at the same point. Again.
Yes, and that is known as the sum, right?
Yeah, that is known as the sum, or we call it as the aha moment.
Aha moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something which is just specific to coach people.
Yeah.
Which you can also use. So the thing is, the sum, which is the first beat of any tal,
Yeah.
people who know the tal or people who like to know the rhythm of any song, they will just continue when the singer is singing the song. They will
Yeah.
just continue to go through the tal, and when the singer comes back,
Yeah, that is so unexpected that the singer again came. Like it is not expected that he will come at this cycle or the next cycle. So when he comes there, all the audience or the people who are listening to the singer just go.
Yeah,
with
we
aha.
become overjoyed. I become overjoyed. She also becomes overjoyed.
Yeah.
Because I've seen her
Yeah.
personally do that. Because it's so natural when they do it, and it just makes our heart be filled with gold.
Yeah, so-
that's also one of the beauties of classical music, if you can say. Yeah, and now on to my favorite topic, which is Taral.
Yeah, basically melody.
Yes.
So every music in the world, any music in the world, is comprised of just 12 notes.
Only 12 notes.
Only 12.
And those notes are
So those notes are Sa, Komal Re, Shuddha Re, Komal Ga, Shuddha Ga, Ma, Tivra Ma, Pa, Komal Dha, Shuddha Dha, Komal Ni, Shuddha Ni, Sa.
Yeah. So before I didn't even understand the difference between Komal and Shuddha and
Yeah.
Tivra and everything. So can you just show us the gradation in
Yeah.
Sarigama?
So Sa, this is our Sa, okay? So Sa, Re, Re, Ga, Ga, Ma, Ma, Pa, Na, Na, Ni, Ni, Sa.
Wow, great.
This
Yeah.
is-
So we can see the gradation in
Yeah,
these
it
notes.
gradually goes up.
Yeah.
So that is
Yes, and actually, as you said, that every music in the world, whether it be rock music or
Any
pop
music.
music or any music in the world, is comprised of these 12 notes.
yeah, it can be broken down to only
These
12.
elements. Yeah, and something that I find interesting, which I didn't know before, which most of you might know, is that the chords are used in Western classical
Yeah,
music, right?
yeah.
And I didn't know what chords were. I know that they used notes, but I didn't know that they used these notes. The notes that we use in Indian classical music are
They are the
same
same.
in use in Western classical music.
Only obviously they pronounce it different. So
Yeah.
we pronounce it as Saregama, they pronounce it as
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la.
So
Yeah.
that is only
And,
the difference.
yeah, and in a chord there can be 3, 4 or 5 or even 6 different notes compiled together.
Yeah,
And
which
a
are-
chord is a basic element of Western classical.
Yeah, so the whole Western classical music is based on the chord fundamentals, and in Indian classical music, the basic element of our music is the swar, individual swar.
Yeah.
So in Indian classical music, the different swars are mixed and matched and made a pattern, and that is known as rag. So sa and pa are the single notes.
Yeah.
They do not have any substitute to them.
Yes. Sa and pa are single notes because pa is considered to be the center of these
All the 12 notes.
Even though before pa there are 6 notes and after pa there are 4 notes. And we will explain why this is. It's extremely complicated, extremely
Interesting. Yeah, this is so interesting.
later. But let's first start with these notes.
Yeah.
These 12 notes, they make up every music in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and as you said, if we have different combinations of these 12 notes, if we add delays, if we put them in an ascending order, in a descending order,
We can change the ascending order. We can change the descending
yeah,
order.
we can put them in different orders.
Yeah.
And
We can make patterns.
yes,
Yeah, and-
yes, and as you said, these combinations, there might be many combinations out there.
There are too many combinations out there.
Actually, I studied about this and somebody told me this that there are 35,000 combinations
Yeah.
that you can do with these 12
12
notes.
notes.
Perhaps more if you add the delays
Yeah.
and descending ascending orders. But I have a question. These 35,000 combinations, they can't all be rags.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they are not harmonious. See, only 350 to 500 of the combinations are harmonious to our ears, and that's why they are called rags.
Okay, but how do we decide if two notes are harmonious or are not?
Yeah.
Okay, perhaps
So,
yeah. Yes, actually I learned about this like a day before and it's very interesting. Okay, so I'll tell you guys. See, there are 12 notes. There is the first sa and there is the last sa. Obviously, the first sa and the last sa are actually similar because they contain a similar name.
Yeah.
But also because the last sa is 2 times the frequency of the first sa. Yes, 2 times the frequency of the first sa.
So to make them understand, like to make it simpler, let's consider the frequency of first sa as 400, and the corresponding sa, like the next sa, would automatically be 800.
Yeah, it will become 800 frequency. But this ascension, this progression
Yeah.
is not arithmetic
Yeah.
or geometric. Sorry, I said manje. Manje is a Marathi word which means. It means which means. Okay, so just listen to me if I talk in Marathi once in a while. So this progression is not arithmetic or geometric. It is logarithmic.
Yeah.
What do we mean by that? See, in the frequencies, the first sa, the last sa is 2 times the frequency of the first sa, and there are 12 notes in between. So, in order to find the difference in the frequency, the proportion of the difference in the frequency between individual swars, we have to take the root 2 raised to 12 because 12 is the index of the number of notes there are. And this value, root 2 raised to 12, comes somewhere in between 1.0594. That number is extremely important. So, the next swar, again sa. So, if we take any key as sa, this is sa. The next re, this is sa. The next re is 1.059 times the first sa, the frequency, in terms of frequency.
Yeah.
Yes. And because of this, we don't get like sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha. Then according sa, re, ga, ga, ma, ma. So like according to this progression, pa shouldn't be a single thing and it shouldn't be the halfway point for our 12 notes. But since this is logarithmic, we need sounds to resonate.
Resonate. So sa and pa resonate with each
Yes.
other, and that's why the sounds that resonate with each other are harmonious to our ear.
Yes, and why do they resonate with each other? And resonance is actually very simple. Resonance, which means that the two chords or two notes that we are playing have to have similar proportion with the increase in their frequency.
Yeah. So if sa is 1, pa automatically becomes 1.5,
1.5.
and the next sa becomes 2.
And-
so sa pa sa. This is in
Yeah, this is in harmony because then we have 1, 1.5 and 2.
Two.
Yes, that's why. That's why these notes are in
harmony with each other.
We also have ma, which is in harmony with
Yeah.
sa. And because of this, we can't take like I just have to make a rag and I say like sa ni ni na. Okay, I can't sing. I'm not singing in melody, but sa ni ni sa. But I can't take that as a rag because those
There are
notes.
some rules and
Yeah, because those notes are not in
In
harmony
harmony with each
because they don't resonate with each other because the proportion in their frequencies is not the same.
yeah.
So that was interesting. That was a little math for you guys. So like we also find that even classical music, which is the most artist art we can find,
Yeah.
it is so much related to maths.
Maths. It is so scientific. It is not absurd or vague.
Yes.
It is like at the end of the day, it is based on science and maths.
Science and maths because it is organized music.
Yeah.
And in order to organize anything, you need science and maths.
Maths,
And
yeah.
I'm a science freak myself. So I really liked this fact. So
Yeah.
that was Ram for you guys. So we talked about rhythm, we talked about the melody, but there is also another very important component of classical music.
And that is emotion or the bhav.
Yes, bhav. So, very, 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 very vast topic. I think so, the emotion of classical music is what aspires me to listen to classical music.
Yeah.
And actually, I have heard that Hindustani classical music, which is the classical music which we have been focusing on mostly in our conversation today, it has the baseline emotion. Emotion is a part of Hindustani classical music. With that emotion, with that ras, which you call it, that's the way when you express yourself, right?
Yeah.
And through the years, Indian classical music has evolved to just express yourself, and that is what I find beautiful of Indian classical music.
Yeah.
The expression. See, sometimes you might not be able to understand the lyrics or
The
the
tal.
way, the tal, the
Yeah.
rag, or the complexities attached with it. But you can always understand the emotion.
Yeah.
And that emotion of Indian classical music, it has so much depth
Yeah.
that it makes a profound impact.
Yeah, so I have a story related to this. So Tansen, as I told you earlier, was the singer for Akbar in his court. So he was on his deathbed, and his son Bilas Khan, he called his son and he told him to sing something for him. He told him to sing Rag Todi for him. So Bilas Khan was mourning for his dying father. And he did not feel like singing such a pleasant rag as Todi. So while singing, he adjusted and altered the rag and made it a serious rag. So it became it totally became a new rag.
Yeah.
We know it as Bilas Khani Todi. It was named after him, but it was just designed by him for his dying father. So there was such a great emotion attached
to
with
it.
that rag.
Yes,
So-
and you also told me that every time anybody listens to that rag, they end up crying.
Yeah, it is so serious, and it is so, it describes the pathos of our lives, and that's why it is so serious. Like, we end up crying, that's true.
Yes, end up crying. And I have also experienced this. First of all, I am not a person who is influenced much by anything,
Yeah.
which is sometimes a fault of mine. But while listening to Indian classical music, sometimes I just close my eyes and just listen to the emotion. I listen to the emotion of the singer, of the person, the composer who is singing that particular music. And that just makes a mind-blowing impact on us.
Yeah, it does. So Indian classical music has a lot of impact on people.
Yes, that is true. And another thing that I find fascinating about Indian classical music, which is that the music in it itself it is not designed to cater the audience.
Yeah, it is just to satisfy yourself.
It is designed to cater to the person singing.
Singing it, or to like a major extent his guru, or to the god of
Yeah,
yeah,
but
so
the first priority is yourself.
Self, yeah.
Is expressing yourself and being happy with what you are. I think so. There was an instance that your father gave an example of. That every time he is singing, and it's true with any other singer that I have come into contact
yeah,
with.
any singer in the whole world, just yeah, so she can tell you,
Yeah, it's like he, even if there are 200 people in front of him, even if there are 5,000 people in front of him, or even if there are none,
Yeah.
he sings with the same intent, with the same expressions, and with the same emotion, because
Yeah.
the music is for himself.
Yeah, so because he does not need to satisfy every person in that auditorium.
Yeah.
He just has to satisfy himself.
And perhaps God.
Yeah, perhaps God.
And the thing is, he or whoever is singing Indian classical music, they want you to become a part of the happiness.
Yeah.
They want you to become a part of the emotion. But sometimes we as lay people, we just concentrate on the complexities and the
Lyrics
intricacies.
and the- yeah.
And we forget that everything is about emotion here.
Yeah.
And if we just become a part with it, if we just immerse ourselves in
Yeah,
the
if
emotion,
we just give it a chance,
it
it is so beautiful.
encompasses us. It encompasses us. I don't know if that's a word. I just can't find a word for that.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
It makes me feel beautiful. I cry every time. And that's why I like the emotion part of Indian classical music. Thoughts. Yes, finally we are at the end of the video.
Yeah.
And we are ending with what we think
About
our
Indian
opinions.
classical music. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So actually, let me ask you a question. Let's start with this. If I'm a lay person and if I go into a concert of Indian classical music, obviously,
Yeah.
perhaps the lyrics, I may not be able to understand the lyrics. Perhaps because of a language barrier, perhaps because they are too complicated, and perhaps they are related to God, and we are just like, we don't believe in God.
Yeah.
That might not be true for people.
Yeah,
But as a teenager, so how will I enjoy the concert then?
Okay, so you have to first understand that in Indian classical music, like people don't prioritize lyrics. So they are just there to convey something, but not the pure emotion of that rag. That pure emotion of that rag is just conveyed through the singing of that person.
Yeah.
Lyrics does not matter.
Okay.
So if you want to really relate to that music, you should just give it some time.
Yes.
It is not that simple. Because it is not for a short duration.
Yeah.
A rag, you can sing, like my Baba always says that you can take one rag and sing it for a lifetime, and it does not, it's still in a nutshell. So
Yeah,
literally.
yes,
So
so it's-
Yaman, or there are so many rags which are so
Everything.
vast
Yeah.
that you cannot just sing it in 6 minutes.
Yes.
There are this so vast that you have to sing it for 45 minutes at least.
Yeah.
So we should give it some time.
Give it some time. And also, I had another perspective on this. See, if I'm a lay person, let's just take the first example.
Yeah.
But instead of an Indian classical music concert, I go into a pop concert. Still, I don't understand the lyrics. Perhaps if it's just about a breakup or anything, and I've
Yeah.
not gone into a relationship, so I don't understand the emotion because of that. But still, I will dance to that song, and I'll be cheery, and that effect that it has on me, it will still be there.
Yeah.
And I'll still be happy with whatever I had done that day. But we don't consider this for Indian classical music.
Yeah.
See, if the only thing we are looking for is the effect, then Indian classical music has a profound
has a
effect.
deeper effect
Yes.
than any music.
Yeah, that is our opinion.
Yeah, that's our opinion. Yeah.
This section is just our opinions, okay?
Yeah.
You just have to listen to it now. So, yeah, if the only thing we are going for is the effect, then there is no need to stigmatize
Yeah.
the complexities under us.
So Indian classical music is not scary at all. It is just
Intricate.
yeah, it is intricate, and it's just showed as scary because the people singing it, they literally work hard.
Extremely much.
They literally work
They
extremely
give
hard.
their life to that one
So,
topic.
it is hard obviously for them, it is scary for them, but not if we listen to it.
Yes.
Listening to it is not at all scary.
Yeah.
You can understand it if you give it some time.
Yes, also give it some time, and also this is a very important sentence that I'm going to say right now. So you have to remember it till the day you die, okay? Okay. So the sentence is, if you're listening to music, Indian classical music, very specifically speaking, you have to listen to it from the perspective of the singer. You don't have to listen to it as the audience. So like, I'm listening to you and do I like this? Do I like that?
Yeah.
You may like it and you may be able to enjoy it, but you will enjoy it much more if you look at it from the perspective of the singer.
Yeah.
See, now I'm an atheist. Don't tell my mother this, but I'm an atheist. But when I listen to bhakti songs, the songs that not preach about God, but actually talk about their devotion to the God, I understand that emotion, I understand that spirituality, and the emotion through that person is singing, his eyes are tearing out, and the vast expanse of emotion he is feeling. If I look at it from his perspective or her perspective, everything makes sense.
Yeah, so again coming to Tansen, it is a famous story that he used to sing Rag Malhar and it used to rain. So why did it used to rain? Because he just became one with the nature.
Yeah.
And the swar was so intricate and so on point that it just, the nature used to surrender to him and just like
yeah. So if we look at any music from the perspective of the singer. Everything is filled with the emotion of the singer, and that's the great beauty of Indian classical music.
Yeah.
Because we have in-depth emotion, and that emotion is portrayed by the singer, and in order to express it, he has worked hard for 25 to 30
too
years.
many years, and that's too many years. Okay,
so that it will be easier for us to understand his emotion.
Yeah.
And that's why if you look at it from his perspective or her perspective, it just blows off your mind.
Yeah, it is just so simple that any other music, okay, not Indian classical music, any other music is pre-decided.
Yeah.
It's it is, everything is decided.
Pre-recorded. Every chord,
every beat is decided and it is recorded in a recording studio.
Controlled environment.
Yeah. So, but in Indian classical music, once before coming on stage, a person only can decide which rag he's going to sing. Nothing else. Like, he does not decide beforehand that I'm going to sing that alap like this, and then I'm going to sing 4 tans and this bandage. He does not
does not have
decide.
any idea.
Yeah. He just comes to the stage and just expresses himself on point, like live. So that is just the beauty,
so this is not artificial, this is not curated, this is not calculated, this is just them. That's the bare beauty.
Not altered, it is just, unfiltered.
That's the bare beauty of Indian classical music. And if you do that, if you listen to it like that, if you listen to it with an open mind, then you will have a greater impact on your life.
Yes, so thank you so much for watching our video.
Yes.
And we will also provide some links of Indian classical music if you really had an impact.
In the description down below. Also, comment down below. Do you think that Indian classical music should evolve?
Yeah.
Very important question.
Very interesting question. So you can comment down below, pour your hearts out.
Yeah. Also check us out on Instagram and Facebook. The links are down below. And thank you for watching.
Also subscribe to us.
Yes.
Bye.